Hi guys, wishing you all a very Shubho Tritiya. I got a gift right now, 2 books, a surprise gift from my girlfriend, who is a Marxist researcher in the field of sociology. And I'm not kidding, that is actually what my girlfriend does. And the best part is that I've forgotten what were the books that she had planned to give me. All I remember is she planned to gift me a translation of some Purana, which was translated by Bibek Debroy, and I've forgotten which Purana is this. So it's a 2-volume Purana. Let's see which did she gift me. The Brahma Purana. And see, chronologically I opened the volume 1 without even knowing it. This is translated by Bibek Debroy, of course, and we'll get to who he is a little bit later in the video. But first let me observe the beautiful artwork. It's from Penguin, from the master translator of the critical editions of the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, which are unabridged, and he's probably the 3rd person ever to translate the unabridged Mahabharata in English, and the 5th person to translate the Ramayana in English. This is going to be so much fun. This is the artwork, which seems like the Ram Mandir or any generic Hindu Mandir. We'll get into what are the first pages. Let's open the part 2, the volume 2 of the Brahma Purana. Thousands of years old, in my hands, translated in English by a person who actually knows Sanskrit for God's sake, and who just coincidentally happens to be a master economist working for the government. There are 2 more here. Oh, there's a page mark. What the fuck is this? Oh, this is the invoice. Okay. The volume 2 of the Brahma Purana. These are pretty thick, man. Imagine if this is basically the entire Brahma Purana. That's the size of the Arthashastra. Let's see the artwork in the Brahma Purana volume 2 from the master translator of the critical editions of the Mahabharata and Ramayana. This is artwork. So pretty. Penguin is really great at artworks. Let's see what's written. Let's read a few pages from the Purana, shall we? Chapter 1. Origin of Devas and Asuras. Jaya must be uttered after worshipping the excellent Naranarayana and goddess Saraswati. I worship Hari, the one who grants emancipation. He is the one who pervades everything. He is the one who has composed this manifestation. He is the origin of the universe and its Maya. In the course of time, from one kalpa to another kalpa, it is in him that it is repeatedly established. It is into him that it is drawn in. For the welfare of this manifestation, sages meditate on him and certainly obtain emancipation. I worship the unblemished one who is known as Purushottama. He is the eternal one who does not move. At the time of Samadhi, he is the one the learned meditate on. He is as pure as the atmosphere. He is always full of perpetual bliss. He is pleasant and without blemish. He is the Lord of everything. He is without gunas. He is beyond the manifest and the unmanifest. The Lord can only be reached through meditation. For the sake of destroying this cycle of samsara, I bow down to the one who is without decay. The forest of Naimisha was extremely sacred. Naimisha is actually a forest in UP, as some of you might know. It was holy and enchanting. It was full of large numbers of diverse sages and adorned with many kinds of flowers and trees like shalas, karnikaras, panasas, dhavas, khadiras, amras, jambus, kapithas, nyagrodhas, devadarus, ashvathas, parijatas, chandanas, agarus, patalas, bakulas, saptaparnis, punnagas, nagakesharas, and shalas, tamalas, narikelas, arjunas, champakas. So narikela is coconut in Bengali, narkel. Even that came from Sanskrit, I had no idea. It was populated with large numbers of different kinds of birds and animals. There were many water bodies. It was ornamented with many sacred lakes. There were Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, and other classes of people. There were those in Vanaprastha, Garhastha, and Brahmacharya stages and mendicants. The forest was flourishing with prosperous pens of cattle. There were also stores of barley, wheat, chickpea, pulses, kidney beans, sesamum, sugarcane, paddy, barley, and other kinds of grain. At a great sacrifice there, the bearer of oblations was kindled and oblations were offered to it. In the forest of Naimisha, a sacrifice went on for 12 years. Sages and all the other Brahmanas gathered there. As is appropriate, the Brahmanas who arrived were suitably worshipped. Along with the officiating priests, they seated themselves there. The intelligent Suta, Loma Harshana, arrived there. On seeing him, the best among sages were delighted and worshipped him. He honored them back and seated himself on an excellent seat. The Suta and Brahmanas started to converse with each other. When the conversation was over, the officiating priests, who had consecrated themselves for the sacrifice, cheerfully asked Vyasa's disciple about their doubts. Maybe I'll be reading this entire book on this YouTube channel, but so far this is it, and let's see what I get time for. So many books to read. And who is Bibek Debroy? Bibek Debroy is the chairman of the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister of the biggest democracy in the history of mankind. And he also has a master's in economics from Cambridge University. And in his free time, he writes countless books. If I start listing the books, it's going to take a long time, but I'm going to do that anyway. Just listen to the number of books he has written. And more importantly, he translates from Sanskrit. Imagine how fluent he is in Sanskrit. He is a full-time economist for the government, for such a big country. And he serves on multiple college and school boards and stuff, advisory committees, etc. And writes all these books and translates from Sanskrit and unabridged versions. Listen to the books he has written. The Valmiki Ramayana, set of 3 volumes, translation. Vishnu Puran he has translated. Then the entire Mahabharata, which is a 10-volume set from Penguins. Brahma Puran Volume 1, which I just got from my girlfriend. Navratri, when Devi comes home. He has written this with a person called Anuradha Goel. Then the Linga Puran, Great Epics of India, Puranas Book 11. Bibek Debroy and Deepavali Debroy, probably his relative. Bhagavad Gita for Millennials, his book from 2020. Mahabharata Volume 4, Mahabharata Volume 5, Brahma Puran Volume 2, Mahabharata Volume 6, Mahabharata Volume 10. For some reason Amazon shows all the Mahabharata separately. The Book of Limericks, Sarama and Her Children, these are his works in fiction. Mahabharata 8, Mahabharata 9. Indian Railways, The Indian Railways by Bibek Debroy and Sanjay Chadha. The Weaving of a National Tapestry. This is the name of the book. Okay, then Inked in India, Fountain Pens and a Story of Make and Unmake. Another, I guess, fiction, book of fiction by Bibek Debroy and Shobhan Roy. Then another translation, The Holy Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda and Atharva Veda. Okay, then a book from 2018, Ideas for India, Faster, Higher, Stronger. Sounds like an energy drink. Valmiki Ramayana. Then a 2010 book called Corruption in India, the DNA and the RNA. Okay, 2022 book, Devi for Millennials. Another book by Bibek Debroy and Deepavali Roy from 2020, The Upanishads, Isha, Kena, Katha, Prashna, Mundaka, Mandukya, Taittiriya, all the names of the Upanishads, all the different Upanishads, Aitariya, Shvetasvatara, Chandogya, Brihadaranyaka. Then he had done an earlier translation of the Puranas back in 2011. These are not those. So that as well. The Holy Puranas, Brahma, Padma, Vishnu, Shiva, Bhagavata, Narada, Volume 1, the Holy Puranas. Then the Bhagavad Gita separately. Not millennial version, just the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, then again the Holy Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda. The Railway Chronicles. Then the Mahabharata Volume 3. Nanda Puran, Great Epics of India, Puranas Book 6, Bibek Debroy and Deepavali Debroy. Then the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Then the Bharata Puranagalu, set of 19 books by Bibek Debroy, Deepavali Debroy et al., which means many more people have written it along with him. The Agni Puran, Great Epics of India, Book 8, Bibek Debroy and Deepavali Debroy. The Brahmanda Purana, the Samaveda separately, the Brahma Puran with earlier 2011. Then Getting India Back on Track, an action agenda for reform, Bibek Debroy, Ashley J. Tellis et al. Atharva Veda obviously. Vamana Purana, Making of New India, Transformation under Modi government. This is from 2018, Bibek Debroy, Anirban Ganguly et al. Matsya Purana. Then a biography of Manomathanath Datta, who is probably the first or second person to translate the unabridged version of Mahabharata from Sanskrit to English. Manomathanath Datta, translator extraordinaire. That is the name of the biography, written by Bibek Debroy. Okay, then uses and misuses of anti-dumping provisions in world trade, a cross-country perspective. Bibek Debroy, D. Chakrabarti et al. From 2006. Okay, from 2005. Energizing rural development through panchayats, papers on rural development issues. Great epics. Then the Padma Puran, Markandeya Puran, the Indian Mosaic, Searching for an Identity. This is from 2004. Okay, then India, Redeeming the Economic Pledge, Articles and Essays by Bibek Debroy, 2004. Okay, this is from 2012. Gujarat, Governance for Growth and Development, Anti-Dumping, Reason and Reform, written in 2020 by Bibek Debroy and Diwakar Jhurani. Okay, Zunain books, the Bhagavata Purana, part 2, Bibek Debroy. Zunain books, I think these are second hand. Bhavishya Puran. Okay, Indian Economy on a Fast Track, 2004. Kurma Puran, 2016 by Bibek Debroy and Deepavali Debroy. Agenda for Change, Action Plan for the Economy, from 1998. Another book in 2006, The North versus the Rest, PhD policy paper, August 2006. Varaha Purana, 2016. Vayu Purana, 2016. External Trade, a book written in 1998. On the Trail of the Black, Tracking Corruption, 2017. Okay, Reforming the Labour Market, collection of papers on labour market reforms by Bibek Debroy and P.D. Kaushik, January 2005. Okay, let's just say if I list the entirety of his works, I'll be here all night. So hope you Google all his books and read them when you find the time. And suffice to say, if you read all books by Bibek Debroy, you are going to have some significant improvement in your life. And also remember how much hard work he does in his daily day to accommodate all these writing projects and being on the advisory boards of different schools and colleges, and while serving the government in the Economic Advisory Council by being its chairman, in which Sanjeev Sanyal is also there. So two Bengalis doing some great work for the country.